Learn English through story. The dark kiss of love. The sun was setting over the quiet coastal village of Lorcia. Its golden light shimmered on the waves as they lapped gently against the rocks, casting long shadows across the shore. Amidst the fading light, a single figure stood by the cliffs, gazing out at the horizon. Ravenna, the most beautiful woman in the village, with eyes like storm clouds and hair as dark as the midnight sky. But her beauty was as mysterious as it was haunting. Ravenna lived alone in a small cottage near the cliffs, her life shrouded in secrecy. The villagers whispered rumors about her. Some said she was a witch, others claimed she was cursed. Few dared approach her, for there was something about her presence that stirred unease in their hearts. Yet despite the whispers, one man found himself drawn to her. His name was Kaelan, a fisherman whose life had been defined by the sea. With hands calloused from years of toil, and a heart that had yet to know love, Kaelan was a man of few words. But the first time he saw Ravenna by the cliffs, something deep inside him shifted, as though the winds had carried a dark promise with aim at a promise of something far greater than the simple life he knew. Kaelan had heard the rumors, of course, but to him, they were nothing more than the idle talk of fearful minds. He saw only a woman, beautiful and solitary, and he longed to know her. Each evening after his day's work, he would walk past her cottage, hoping for a glimpse of her, and eventually, his persistence was rewarded. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ravenna stood outside her cottage, her eyes fixed on the sea. Kaelan approached cautiously, his heart racing, unsure of what to say. But before he could utter a word, Ravenna turned to him, her gaze piercing yet soft. "Why do you watch me?" she asked, her voice low and melodic. Kaelan hesitated, his tongue tied, but something about her gaze compelled him to speak the truth. "Because, I find you beautiful, and I want to know you." Ravenna smiled, though it was a sad, distant smile. "Beauty is a dangerous thing," she murmured. "It can draw men into places they were never meant to go." Despite her warning, Kaelan felt no fear. He was captivated by her, drawn into her mystery like a sailor to the siren's song. Over the following days, he visited her often, their conversations growing longer with each passing night. Ravenna spoke little of herself, but what she did share intrigued him. Tales of faraway lands, of the ancient magic that once lived in the heart of the world, and of the strange pull she felt towards the sea. As the nights grew colder and darker, Kaelan found himself falling in love with her. He knew little of love, but the intensity of his feelings frightened him. It was as though Ravenna had awakened something inside him, something primal and uncontrollable. Her presence stirred his blood, and her absence made his heart ache in a way he had never known. One night, after a particularly stormy evening, Ravenna asked Kaelan to come inside her cottage for the first time. He had never seen the inside before, and as he crossed the threshold, he felt a strange chill in the air. The room was small but filled with objects that seemed both foreign and familiar. Candles that flickered with an unnatural light, books bound in old leather, and strange symbols carved into the walls. Ravenna offered him a drink, a dark, crimson liquid that smelled of spices and herbs. Kaelan took it, his hands trembling slightly as their fingers brushed. As he drank, the warmth of the liquid spread through his body, soothing him. "Do you know why they call me a witch?" Ravenna asked softly, sitting across from him. Kaelan shook his head, unsure of what to say. He had always dismissed the rumors. But now, sitting in her cottage, he began to wonder, they call me a witch because I am cursed. She continued, long ago, I loved a man, as you love me now, but my love was not enough. He wanted more, he wanted power, immortality, and so, he sought the help of a dark sorcerer, who gave him what he desired, but such power comes at a cost. In exchange for his immortality, the sorcerer bound my soul to his. As long as he lives, I cannot die, and as long as I live, he cannot die. We are trapped, bound by a dark kiss of love that will never be broken. Kaelan felt a chill run down his spine. Where is he now? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Ravena's eyes darkened. He wanders the earth, forever seeking more power, more pleasure, and I am bound to wait, until the day he finds me again. Kaelan's heart ached for her. He reached out and took her hand. I won't let him hurt you, he said fiercely. I will protect you. Ravena smiled sadly. Her eyes filled with a sorrow deeper than the sea. You cannot protect me, Kaelan. No one can. The curse is too strong. But Kaelan was not deterred. His love for Ravena had grown too strong, too consuming. He would do anything to free her from the curse, no matter the cost. The next morning, he went to the village elder, a wise woman who had lived through many lifetimes. He told her of Ravena's curse and begged for her help. The elder listened carefully, her wrinkled face thoughtful. There is only one way to break such a curse, she said finally. The man who bound her soul must die, only then will she be free. Kaelan's heart sank. But if he cannot die, the elder's eyes gleamed with a strange light. There is a way, she said slowly, but it is dangerous, and the price is high. Kaelan did not care about the danger. All he cared about was saving Ravena. Tell me, he said. The elder leaned in close. You must find the sorcerer who cast the curse. He alone holds the power to break it, but be warned, such magic comes at a great cost. Are you willing to sacrifice everything for her? Kaelan did not hesitate. Yes, he said firmly. I will do whatever it takes. The elder nodded and gave him a small vial of dark liquid. This will guide you to the sorcerer. Drink it when the time is right, and you will find him. But remember, once you start down this path, there is no turning back. Kaelan returned to Ravena that evening, his heart heavy with the knowledge of what he must do. She could sense his unease and asked him what troubled him. He told her of the elder's words, of the sorcerer who held the key to her freedom. Ravena's face paled. No, Kaelan, she said urgently, you must not go. The sorcerer is dangerous. He will destroy you. But Kaelan was determined. I love you, Ravena. I cannot stand by and watch you suffer. I will find him, and I will end this. Ravena's eyes filled with tears. Love is not enough to defeat such darkness, she whispered. It will consume you. But Kaelan would not be swayed. He kissed her gently, a kiss filled with all the love and desperation in his heart. I will return, he promised, and when I do, you will be free. The next morning, Kaelan set out on his journey. He traveled for days, through forests and mountains, guided only by the vial the elder had given him. The further he went, the darker the world around him became. Strange creatures lurked in the shadows, and the air grew thick with a sense of foreboding. At last, he reached the sorcerer's lair, a crumbling tower hidden deep in a cursed forest. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the sky above was black with storm clouds. Caelan entered the tower, his heart pounding in his chest. Inside, he found a sorcerer, a tall, gaunt figure with hollow eyes and a voice like the wind through a graveyard. The sorcerer smiled as Caelan approached, as though he had been expecting him. "So, you have come to break the curse," the sorcerer said, his voice dripping with malice. "You wish to free the woman you love." Caelan stood tall, though his heart was filled with fear. "Yes," he said. "Tell me how?" The sorcerer laughed. A cold, cruel sound. "There is only one way," he said. "You must take her place." Caelan's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" The sorcerer stepped closer, his eyes gleaming. "You must offer your soul in exchange for hers. You will take her place in the curse, bound to live forever in torment while she is free." Caelan's heart shattered. He had come to save her, but the price was more than he had ever imagined. He would be giving up everything: his life, his future, his very soul. But then he thought of Ravenna, of the pain in her eyes, the sorrow that had haunted her for centuries. He could not let her suffer any longer. "I will do it," he said quietly, his voice trembling. "I will take her place." The sorcerer smiled, a dark, twisted smile. "Very well," he said, "the bargain is struck." With a wave of his hand, the sorcerer cast the spell. Caelan felt a searing pain in his chest as his soul was torn from his body. He fell to the ground, gasping for breath, his vision fading. As the darkness closed in, his last thought was of Ravenna, of the woman he had loved, and the price he had paid for her freedom. When Ravenna awoke the next morning, she felt a strange lightness in her chest. The curse was gone, she was free. But when she went to find Caelan, he was nowhere to be found. Days passed, and still, he did not return. It was only when she went to the village elder that she learned the truth, that Caelan had given his soul to save her, and now, he was bound to wander the earth, just as she had been. Ravenna wept for him, her heart breaking with the knowledge of what he had sacrificed for her. And so, the dark kiss of love that had bound her was passed on to another. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.